go. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to Unfair Sports, the OSG Fantasy Show, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. Thank you for checking us out here on YouTube, as well as wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to. While you're here, please like, subscribe, rate us, and review us, and give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Meh, let's give us 5 anyway. You gifted. So on today's fantasy episode, we're going to dive deeply into all positions. We're going to go into some QB wide receiver stats, running back defensive stacks, jump into some wide receivers that are sneaky good, tight ends, and then defense and special teams, and wrapping everything up with the PHrozen features. Hit us up on the Unfair Fan Line, 430-901-1906. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know your strongest opinions as well as how you performed. We would love to know how you've done with our reports. The OSG written report also comes out every Saturday. So after the show releases later on in the day, you will see the written report with more details. So with that, I'm going to jump right into it.
Right back.
OSG, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. We are ready for another week. Ready to get it going. Think we're focused for this week. Think we're ready. Think we got some good picks.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, we're feeling good. Feeling ready.
This is one of them weeks I'm feeling good. And I like
Yes.
so we're going to change the format a little bit. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to go this time. We're not going to do any game highlights. We're going to focus all in on the positions.
Yes. I thought the game stacks, there's a few decent games, but, some tight spreads. But some of those matchups just not juicy on both sides. Not some of the things we look forward to.
Yeah, to be honest, I looked at it. There's like 2 games that's a 50-pointer.
Yeah, there'll probably be some games.
Maybe 3.
There'll probably be 1 or 2 games that surprise us, and and I think as we talk through some of these positions, we'll bring a couple up as on the go.
Yeah. And looking at these spreads and the way it's going, it's going to be a lot of, like you said,
there's a lot of guys in good spots that you don't feel good about starting.
I agree, 100%. This feels like a different week. Last week was also a little. We talked about it, pre-production, that it was a little boring of a week.
Yeah, and I actually think that happens as the season progresses.
Yes,
and when you're playing tournaments, I actually like that a little bit. I like kind of finding some gems. I like finding players that maybe a lot of people aren't on. I like giving you some people and calling them and.
You'll look for those gems, avoid those busts, and boom, especially because, like you said, as the season progresses, we're going to start seeing more injuries.
Yes.
And then we're going to see new guys step up. So next man up. Yeah. And the question is how that next man is going to look. Like, just to throw one out there, last week I picked up Ernest Johnson for the Browns. Yes. I knew that I had just traded Alvin Kamara on my season long, and I picked him up because I was like, Cleveland runs the ball. So both running backs out, guaranteed they're going to hand it off. And guess what? He rushed for over 100 yards, got a couple tutties. So
sometimes you make some bold stances.
That's what it is.
People stuck to Khalil Herbert last week, even though they match up with the Bucs, and that you kind of look at a team's tendencies and the way they play, and you make a gut call. And this is the time of season to make those calls. And if you feel it, play it.
Yep. We're close to about halfway through, so you got to keep that bad boy in mind.
I love that. The colder it gets, the better.
Yeah, it's true. It feels like football weather now. This is football weather. Yes. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it, shall we? First position, we're going to go ahead and just make it happen. Quarterback.
Captain of the team.
You'll hear some stacks in there as well, so we'll make mention of who to add to said players. So OSG. And your quarterbacks, who you looking at?
I got a few favorite, so we'll just start up top. The highest price one at 8-1. Some of these other quarterbacks aren't on the slate. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Just an amazing spot against Miami. Miami's defense is back to being bad, and every team just kind of lights them up, especially the quarterback and receiver pair. And when you look at their DVP, across the board for every position, you don't really feel good about trusting the running back. So I think Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders are in great spots.
Yeah, it's true.
Diggs is up high. He's at 8-1. He's the second highest price behind Kupp. Dawson Knox is still out. We kind of saw how he played. He broke his hand a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he sure did.
So I think that does add to the value of playing Cole Beasley with him. He's 4-9. He's down at the bottom, but I think that him and
Manny Sanders. Yeah, Manny Sanders is
a. And I think you just
that's your double right there.
I think you play that stack. I think you play that over and over, and I think that's a great place to start, especially in the smaller field tournaments before it gets too widespread. So I think you start up top with Allen. After that, again, right up top. He's in a big total game. Matt Stafford, he's 7-6.
Yeah, and before you jump into them, that Buffalo one to keep in mind, don't touch Tua at all. This is the number one DVOA defense in the NFL. They're the top passing defense in the league.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch him. Even with the vote of confidence that was given to him from Flores to make them think that they're pursuing Deshaun Watson. And because they're pursuing Deshaun Watson, Tua's going to be in his head for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
they need to get him out of there.
Yeah, they have an 18-point team implied total.
Oh, God, it's low.
His best, I'm more interested in the Bills' defense. If you had to, which when we get to that position, if you had to play somebody, it's, maybe Gesicki. He throws a lot to Waddle, but I'm not really going to be invested in this Miami defense. The longer the season goes, we talked about this pre-show, there's going to, the player pool is going to, it's going to dwindle, but it's going to dwindle what the final choices made. We'll go over a few of these pieces, but, really solid player pool, and I think it starts with Josh Allen. You play him every week, and he's got the rushing ability.
Yeah, so he hasn't been rushing as much, even though he is the second he's second in rushing on his team.
Yeah,
I threw a little YouTube short on earlier today. There are 6 quarterbacks that either lead their team in rushing or they're second on their team in rushing. Josh Allen's one of them, to go along with Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones. Those 3 actually lead their team in rushing. Then Tyler Heineke, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen are second. So they don't really have much of a running game. So
and it was probably around week 2 or 3 we had kind of said, in a week or two the Bills were going to have this run of games that Josh is just going to be Allen, and it was, the Chiefs in Tennessee. And it's going to continue here with Miami, and it's just going to keep going. So
that makes sense.
Josh Allen's a good place to start.
All right. You said Stafford's next on that one, and they're playing Houston.
Yes. Another big total spread.
Honestly, I'm a little concerned about playing against Houston. Well, defensively seem a little different.
Okay, and so here's one thing about Houston is that Tyrod Taylor may come back. He may play in this game.
Oh, Taylor plays in this game.
And we saw earlier in the season when you kind of think about guys like Brandon Cooks on the other side. So if Taylor plays, you see Houston maybe being a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
Not that they're going to win, not that they're going to do anything, but just play a little bit more competitive.
They will compete, and that's a little bit more important in comparison to anything else.
Yeah, Stafford. I think that, it could be a Darrell Henderson game if the blowout happens. Of course, Stafford is going to get them there. That's why they blow them out. But, they didn't take the gas off against Detroit. Maybe it's because it was their team. They let them keep throwing against Cup. But if they kind of get up 21 here, maybe we could see him slow down and run the ball a little bit more. But still, if it's a blowout, it's because Stafford threw it to Cup.
Yeah, I mean, Houston is technically just below average at 18 in DVOA. Their offense is the worst, and that's mainly because of Davis Mills was the quarterback and not Tyrod Taylor. So I think that's kind of an illusion. Definitely, if you look to stack, Tyrod Taylor and Brandon Cooks is not a bad idea this week.
It's really not, actually. It's not the worst. For what he's going to be priced at the, I think he's only like 4.9. So, that's a cheap 300 yards if he were to get there. So if he plays, it's not the best matchup for him to come back against too. It's actually a pretty good defense. It's a decent defense.
Yeah.
Got Jalen Ramsey to worry about, but he's not in my player pool. But I think him coming back helps keep the game somewhat more competitive than what if Davis Mills was in there.
Yeah.
Moving down, Brady's at 7-4. I got a question mark next to Brady because, he is the GOAT. But it's a tough defensive matchup against the Saints. It's a division game. It's going to be a tight game when we're kind of looking at games to stack. So that's another reason that I didn't want to completely talk about a game stack with New Orleans and the Bucks because, what do you want to play on New Orleans sides besides Kamara? There's no receivers you want to touch. You're not playing Callaway. You're not playing Traquan Smith. You're not playing Jameis Winston. I mean, maybe you want to because of this matchup with the Tampa secondary, but
it just feels like this game could be something with it. Just because, like you said, the Tampa secondary is bad, and Winston has gotten to where he likes to throw it deep,
which helps the game. The more that they score, but we have seen Brady. Of course, he can outperform any matchup.
It's true.
They throw it when they're up.
Jameis has gotten back to kind of the old Jameis. He's thrown for 6 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
with only one pick, which is even more interesting,
actually,
and over 200 yards every game.
I was watching the game last week. He was actually they flashed a thing on the screen that if he stays at this rate, he's on pace for 40 and 10.
Wow.
Quiet as it's kept. They brought up the fact that he had 30 and 30 last time with Tampa. I was
of course.
He threw 30 touchdowns. He threw 30 interceptions. He's the only player to ever do that.
Yep, because he was throwing the ball more than 35 times a game.
But they were showing his stats, and at the rate he's on pace for 40 and 10.
I've defended that on numerous occasions on multiple episodes. I've broken it down on Jameis, and the 30 interceptions. There's a reason why, but we won't go into that.
So if we can get some production out of them,
then
that helps Brady's case if you want to play him at 7-4.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
At 7-3,
it'll be a shootout because Brady's going to get the numbers to get at least Tampa ahead.
Yeah.
Now the Saints do play them tough. Sean Payton has a good understanding, and whoever's DC is has a good understanding of the way.
And Marshawn Lattimore works to take out one of his favorite targets. Mike Evans.
He loves Mike Evans.
They play. He shadows him.
He shadows him the entire
every game.
Yes.
So
I don't know if is Garner. Is he back?
Who?
The corner for the Saints. Gosh.
Now that I'm not sure of. I would have to check the game logs here. I can pull that up. But with Brady being 7-4, I would somewhat much rather go with Herbert at 7-3.
Yeah.
I do kind of like his bounce back. They had a bye week.
C.J. Garner-Johnson. Well, he's a safety now at this point. Yeah. I don't know. Is he? I'm trying to see if he's healthy or not because he likes to start fights with people too. And that's probably their best bet is to start as many fights with Godwin and Evans as possible to make the game a lot easier for themselves. But yeah, it looks like he is healthy, so he should be playing this week. So it might be a tough one for
on paper. It is, I don't want to say it's not the best matchup because when you look at the
New Orleans
team implied total,
defensively,
they do expect the Bucks. I mean, they do have a 28-point team implied total. I always say, talking about how bad of a matchup it is. They still got, Vegas still predicting them to score 4 touchdowns.
Yep, and New Orleans is the third-ranked defense in DVOA. They have a really good defense.
They're a respectable defense.
They just don't have the offense to match it this year.
Their defense, I usually consider them every week in tournaments.
Yep.
So,
we'll see. All right.
Yes.
All right. What other quarterbacks you got? Let's wrap it up.
And we'll wait till we get to receiver because I was going to give you Evans' stat line against Marshawn Lattimore.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about when we get in depth on them.
It's terrible.
It is. It's bad. But I think with that, if there's any other ones at 7-2,
yes, it is a revenge game.
Jalen Hurts and then Joe Burrow at 7-1.
I let Justin Herbert. I think that's my guy this week. I know that
really against that Patriots defense.
I know he is, but what? They had a bad game against Baltimore.
They got the bye. They got the bye, so they got time to rest.
And I just think that, and of course, I think the game is they're in
LA.
They're at home, and I think they have a bounce back game. I really do.
Okay,
it's one of the games like as much as you don't really like the New England side because I love like Henry.
Yeah.
I really like Justin Herbert this week.
Okay.
I think he's a easy stack with like Mike Williams.
Yeah.
I think that Eckler being played when we get in there and you can actually stack a quarterback and a running back because he throws it to him and you can get all your production through an offense like this. But I think that Herbert, I think he's having a bounce back game. And I like him over Brady at 7-4 and I hate it, but I like him better than Hurts at 7-2.
I can see that. I do like Joe Burrow at 7-1 this week.
And then that's the next guy to the next. Now he's now on paper, DVOA, the Jets are just so bad that you just end up running it on them at the end of the day. Because last week, actually, one of my favorite running backs last week was Damian Harris because he was in that matchup with the Jets. And he actually crushed. He with 2 touchdowns. He had 100 yards, though, for sure. So I like Herbert and Burrow. Down at 6'6", I'm moving like the Tannehill, but I like the Burrow play because you can stack them so easy with Jamar Chase. Like we've seen so much out of these two guys, and it's like every week, even when they're in a bad matchup, I always say that Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are 300-yard waiting to happen. I say it about them every week. If it's a bad matchup, we're not talking about them. They can do it every week.
I can see that
any week.
2 cheap quarterbacks to consider. Just throw them out there to think about.
They're probably on my list.
Teddy Bridgewater against Washington, who was not very good.
He's not on my list, but he's in play.
He's in play.
He's in play.
Geno Smith against Jacksonville, the worst defense in the NFL.
It should be a better matchup for them.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I actually have Trevor Lawrence at 5-5 on the other side of the game.
Ooh.
On my list. You know, when they just have to let Laviska Shenault break out. So when you're building a roster, if you take that cheap stack at Lawrence and Shenault or
they're
something
playing
like that.
Seattle, which is a bad defense for the most part.
And we'll get to the best play when we move positions around in that game. But I have Trevor Lawrence on my list. He's 5-5, Tannehill at 6'6", Tennessee might be better than we thought.
Yeah.
If Derrick Henry don't do it last week, and the people that wanted to play the passing game really got hold because Derrick Henry threw that touchdown when they kind of holding Tannehill and A.J. Brown, and even though Brown still got a touchdown, and that kind of still hit somewhat, but we talked about if Henry don't do it, and that actually saved Henry's little fantasy line because he didn't do a lot. He didn't do that great, but they just blew out the Chiefs so bad that he didn't have to.
That makes sense. So with that, let's go ahead and begin to transition into running back.
I got two.
You got two more?
Two terrible plays. 5'9", Matt Ryan. The last 3 games, he's averaged 25.38 fantasy points. He's throwing for 300 yards. Like he's coming into this. They had a transition offense. They got the rookie Kyle Pitts involved. They had the trash Mike Davis. They got Cordell Patterson going. They're playing Carolina, which is not a bad defense.
They're top 5 defense.
It's a division game. It's at home, but there's these lopsided games. This might be a good football game, and if Darnold actually if he does anything. But even if he doesn't, I think that
actually they're number 11 now. Carolina's kind of falling.
But when you look at Matt Ryan's past game log here recently, and you look at what he's averaging when you look at him on DK, but when you add up the last 3 games, it's 25-3, and he's right there with the best.
Okay,
he's candidate for 300. And the last terrible play, and I never play him, and I vowed I wouldn't since last year, and that's Carson Wentz. He's playing Tennessee. He's 5'7".
Look. Carson Wentz has been a different person this season.
They're playing better.
He's playing a hell of a lot better than he has before.
And you can play him with Michael Pittman at 5'3".
Yep. He got 21 last week. His points aren't that great.
21.6 the last 3. I added up. I had notes about him and Ryan. Like their last 3, we're looking for trends. And so the last month,
they're trending up.
We forget about September. Every year, you always forget about September, good or bad.
Yeah, it's true. And Wentz is trending up as far as value, as cost as well too. So it looks like DK is starting to.
So you got the 2 best teams in the AFC South. Like they both want to win this game.
Yeah, and I think that the Colts have a chance to actually take the South away from the Titans if they're not playing
division game.
Yes,
but they're competing.
Yes, you're
the
right.
Texans aren't competing for anything against the Rams. The Dolphins aren't competing anything against Allen.
This is actually a battle.
Brady and the Saints. This is a battle.
This is
Brady.
Battle.
New England and the Chargers are going to be a battle.
Yeah, this is a battle.
So that's what this week. So that's why I think the player pool, like you find this that you like, and you attack that angle. If you disagree with Matt Ryan, okay, don't play him. And I'm gonna have a hard time clicking him because I got this thing about Atlanta.
I don't touch Atlanta.
It's worth mentioning though because he's on the upward. He's trending upward.
Atlanta's my Ike too. I don't touch them. They disappoint me at all times.
Great, though. Like he's got something.
He does.
And they always like his tight ends.
And he's finally showed out after it took a week. It took, 7 weeks for them to do it. But
really to have a great game, but he's still getting the 10 targets. So, so moving on. That's it.
Moving on. So appreciate y'all checking us out here on the YouTubes as well as on the pod. Please hit us up on the fan line 430-901-1906. Let us know what you think. Give us your thoughts on who should be played as well. We will take that into consideration.
What opinion is terrible? Let me know.
Yeah, that's not the ones are terrible. I mean, it's so hard with fantasy, but So
sometimes terrible people play good.
This is very true.
They're all professionals at the end of the day.
With that, running backs. Let's go ahead and go into those that are going to be carrying the ball nonstop. Of course, you've got your main guys: Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara.
But let's talk about them though. Like Derrick Henry's in a tough spot against the Colts defense. They're a good rush defense. That's kind of why I'm looking at Tannehill at 6'6". Like if Henry busts, is because Tannehill at 6'6" to A.J. Brown 6'9" stack.
Yep.
Pop. The offense is healthy. They're rolling at 5-2.
Yep.
So Henry can bust out, but it is on paper # tough matchup.
Yep.
You look at his stat lines. He's got to get at 8'9". He's got to get 30.
Yeah.
And he can.
He can. I mean, he has a tendency. That Colts defense rushing wise, I don't know how. Let me see. Let's look at that Indy. Oh, I didn't know this. The Colts have the number 1 rushing defense at DVOA.
Yes. Yeah.
So if rushing, there may be a problem because like Arizona, they're 7th.
Yes.
And what Arizona did was they stacked the box.
Yes.
And play one-on-one with the wide receivers and force Tannehill to beat him, and he couldn't.
Now, Derrick Henry in his last 4 games against the Colts, 764 yards over those 4 games, 5 touchdowns. It's good for 5, 4, 6 a carry. So he personally performs well in the matchup against the Colts. Despite
the only pushback I have on that is who was throwing the ball for the Colts.
You have to go back and look at how the Colts played these. So that's the last 2 seasons.
Really bad. Right. Yeah, Jacoby
seasons.
Brissett.
And more so
and
is
an injured
Andrew
Luck.
It's the current defensive coordinator for the Colts. I think that's probably more important than who was the quarterback.
Right.
That it's the same defensive coordinator that he's playing. So it's a good rush defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's performed well in it. So before you just skip over here, there's like questions that you, when you get down to Sunday, make that decision. Same thing right under him at 8-7 is Alvin Kamara.
And we talked about him kind of throughout the day as well as pre-production. And this is why I was pushing heavy for Kamara. The trade for Mark Ingram is now opening up the field for Kamara. The problem that he's had this season is that he was the feature back. So he was running the ball 15, 20 times a game at running back, and they really couldn't. They don't want to play him like Christian McCaffrey is playing.
And other defense can hone in on that strategy that you just want to run the ball 30 times, and
you can't do that with him. He's not built for that. He's built for getting him all over the field. You want him rolling out. And then the problem is that if he moves out the backfield or if he's always in the backfield, they're expecting him to pass, and the run game isn't there.
Yeah, Michael Thomas still is
throwing it off.
Back, and, so
they have no receivers,
so it'll nip away some carries. It'll get them from 26 carries back to the 18 to 20 range that they prefer him at, that he was in when the offense was rolling.
It's going to drop him back to about 12 to 14 where he can be more explosive, and then he'll have about 10 targets.
So make it up in the reception.
So he's going to make
the
it
fantasy
up.
production is there. And that's the kind of running back that has to beat fantasy-wise against Tampa Bay, because the lineup running back not going to do it.
Right.
I like moving down, and people will look at these two, and I think because of the matchup, again, I talked about really loving Herbert. I like Eckler 7. I like the whole offense to bounce back. Every position we go through, I'm going to mention a Charger. So he's at 7-9.
They need it.
Yes,
and even though Eckler still, he put up 9 points last week, which was pretty brutal.
They didn't score a touchdown. They didn't do anything.
So
whatever he mustered out fantasy wise was him rushing and him catching balls.
Yep.
And so even in a bad effort, almost got to double digit fantasy points.
Yeah, especially with PPR. So
exactly,
that helps a lot.
And then you keep moving down the price chain there. Speaking of PPR at 7.5, even though it's a tough matchup, Najee Harris.
You take him.
Yes, I know.
You take him. I convinced you on him. I kept talking you into him.
We talk about look at the game log. Like, just read it. Like,
I've been talking a lot of. I drafted Najee Harris in my season long, and so but in fantasy I played him every week.
And it was just like he having to keep playing him. Like he's.
Yep,
the fantasy.
The funny thing is that I noticed it in the first week. He put out like 5.9. He didn't really have any points when they played Buffalo. Now that
and I
ugly
think he
game.
jumped into the game halfway.
Yep,
and ended up immediately getting like 3 targets, and so it was like, okay.
Yep, he started getting passes thrown, and then from there it's throws.
19 fantasy, 31, 21, 25, 24.
He had 19 targets against Cincinnati.
And as long as
19,
as long as
Ben Roethlisberger's a quarterback, they're going to be check downs. Yeah. This is a number to keep in mind. Ben Roethlisberger, from snap to release, is the fastest quarterback in passes right now. He is passing the ball at 2.36 seconds.
I'm gonna give you a sneaky play later if Najee Harris fails, but
I got that. Cool.
Okay.
But keep that in mind. That's the reason why Najee Harris is such a great play every week. Ben is getting rid of the ball so quick, it's always going to a running back for the most part. But
right under him, tough. I won't say tough matchup on paper because it's still the Titans, but they're a little better against the run in the past. But Jonathan Taylor at 7-2, he's just he's just on top. He's rolling in a good offense too.
Jonathan Taylor's having
so this one, like
season.
running back is deep. You keep going. He's catching all these balls. You look at DeAndre Swift at 7-1.
And Tennessee's 25th in DVOA on the run.
Yeah.
So they're not very optimal when it comes to that overall. So you have a better chance of getting. And Jonathan Taylor's been having some good weeks.
Yes, he has been.
He's been showing out. So he's definitely one to.
It's not a fluke. Like put him up there. It's an offense with a clear cut method of functioning.
Yep. Run it down with Jonathan Taylor. Throw a little. I think they had a little Mack in at one point. Oh no. Hines. They had Hines. Hines. But they're trying to trade Mack. Hines, and then you go, and then Carson Wentz lobs it to Pittman, and now T.Y. Hilton, who has made his return. So keep that going on the run. But going down
7-2. How about catching balls 7-1? DeAndre Swift. 10 targets last week.
Where the hell did he come from? I mean, I knew that he was good coming in out of Georgia. I liked him, but goodness.
Last week 10 targets. Before that 7, 6, 6, 7. It's not stopping. He topped out at 28.4 fantasy points in a tough matchup against the Rams. Now you get this Philly-Detroit game. There's one of the games that could be a sneaky bum shootout where nobody can just
shootout.
Yeah, but it's just like they're so bad. But they got enough explosive athletes on both sides of the ball that it could be 31-28, and at their prices for everybody on the team, except for now that Swift got this price increase to set back up to 7-1. He started off the season 6-9 and 7K, but they were bad. He fell down to 5'8", 6'2", so he's back up 7-1. But I think he's completely playable. I really don't want to play Joe Mixon at 6'9", even though it's against the Jets. But at that price, he's just not catching balls. I know that the game script could favor him, but he
doesn't get the targets because they don't have
targets.
to.
Well, they could, but they're kind of throwing it to PHrozen a little bit.
We gotta remember,
and they spreading the ball around.
Well, yeah, look at it. Week 6 against Detroit on the road when they beat them up 34-11. He had 6 targets, 5 catches, 59 yards, and a touchdown.
And it kind of seems like an outlier. Because other than that,
outside of that, that was it.
That's it. He's got a 4-target game in week 1, but other than that, last week,
but that was their
0 targets in a game that they scored 41 points.
Well, he ran. I mean, Jamar Chase was doing all of the work. So I think that's the thing to consider in that. So if you're playing the Jets, I don't want to
play him at 6'9".
Yeah,
play Swift or play play James Robinson at 6'6". I think he's a tremendous play against Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's struggling on defense. So that makes sense.
Especially against the run.
Yeah, it's true.
I think he's going to smash it. He's one of my favorite. He's one of my highlighted running backs. Like I think, it's Eckler, Swift, Robinson, and Damian Harris in New England. That's who I've got highlighted. So I think that for that price, I think you go James. I mean, even D Hendo, he's 6'5". He's cheaper than Joe Mixon. You talked about Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, he seems to be the favorite in the analytics right now as far as the optimizer. He's at the 150 rosters I had made on Pro Football Focus's site. 38% of those have Darrell Henderson, and the other running back is Swift. So, I mean, that totally makes sense. They even got a little David Johnson mixed in here since Mark Ingram is gone. That he might be a cheap play that you may want to leverage.
And if Tyrod Taylor plays, that just makes everybody in the offense
a lot better. It gives them a jump. It gives them a jump. It gives them a big jump in comparison to what they were. They won't be the 32nd ranked offense. Basically, is my point. They're no longer that. They'll at least be in the mid-20s.
I mean, they're playing the Rams, but at least they're at home.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So here's a couple of them that I want to before we move on into the big
more.
spots.
Yeah. A couple more cheap running backs to think about. Is
one Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, 6'3". He's gonna catch balls.
A lot of
offense. That's the thing. This play. That's time of year. In all of the sports I play, I consider good teams.
Yes.
Stop chasing. Okay, he's at 6'3". What do you think of Cordell Patterson at 6'2"?
Okay, so Cordell Patterson is
Fournette because they're 100, and that's sometimes when you kind of build in these rosters, you kind of get into this point and you're like, oh, it's like $100 or $200 off. And so okay, I got Fournette, I got Patterson, I got Damian Harris at 6'1".
Who is Patterson around? Let me see. You got and now if you notice, the Patriots are starting to leverage the hell out of Damian. He's starting to become. He's got 2 straight 100-yard games. He scored a touchdown in 3 straight games. Playing. Jets, Dallas, and Texans.
And look at the rush defense for the Chargers. They got great corners to take away these receivers.
Yeah.
They'll let you throw it to the tight end. That's why I love Hunter Henry this week. He scored a touchdown in 4 straight games, by the way.
That's a good point. We'll get into tight end in a bit. Keep that noted.
Belichick is smart enough to just run the ball.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
He's the kind of coach that wouldn't mind running the ball anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And he plays the strengths and the weaknesses.
And that's his game.
Best at that.
Yes, he wants his defense off the field. He wants to hold the clock, and when his defense is on, he get off quickly, and he wants to run. He likes time of possession.
He was one of my favorite running backs last week. Was Damian Harris, and that paid off. And,
let's go into these two. I got two that I need you to tell me what you feel on.
Who else?
Your boy Chuba Hubbard.
I want to be right now, like, it's the best matchup against Atlanta. I hate if I jump off that they all explode, but until the offense has been so bad because Darnold's been so bad that they haven't been able. They not, he needs to be in good positions to perform well.
And your boy, Khalil Herbert.
Yes, I kind of, what's his name is coming back. I think the other running back. I think that they just gonna keep running it. Yeah. The Bears and the Niners will be like the fastest game because they're just going to run the ball both sides, and the clock will never stop. But at 5'4", you don't hate to play. I think Chubb is coming back, so I don't think you can play Dearness Johnson at 5'4".
But Kareem Hunt's out, so they still do run They still run a two running back offense.
There's enough to support two running backs.
Yes, they are a two running back offense.
Yes, because I don't think we're going to mess with Myles Gaskin. Like you said, Buffalo's got a good defense. So I think that Damian Harris is the bottom at 6'1".
Okay.
But I think there's a lot of value at that bottom of that. You got Darrell Henderson. He can run 20 times and have a great game at 6'5". Fournette at 6'3" can have a good game catching balls. Cordell Patterson is just involved in this offense, and if Darnold continues to be bad, like with Ryan playing the way he is, like Atlanta could really at home like stomp Carolina.
That's true.
They got stomped by the Giants.
It's true.
With nobody on their team.
That's so bad.
They're down to a JV team on offense at receiver.
They are. It's bad.
Devontae Booker running wild on them.
But I like the Robinson play. I'm leaning towards that with Jacksonville. I love James Robinson a lot.
So I think him
and Lenny.
So with Henry and Kamara being so high in tough matchups, Eckler and down is where Eckler through Harris is. I think the meat of the running back. Like it's a really good. There's some good running backs, and I think that's where you make a break in lineup this week.
That's a good point.
That's why we want to focus on some position by position this week. Is really the running backs.
That's a good one. Okay. Yeah. You were mentioning that coming into. That's the one you want to dive deepest into them and wide receiver. We're going to jump into in a second. So. Remember, later on Saturday, after this comes out, we record this on Thursdays, but Saturday when this drops. Later in the afternoon, the OSG's written report with more details on every player, every roster for you to build your fantasy rosters up. Please give us a clap on Medium because where it's found, as well as on the Instagram. Hit the comments, give us your thoughts, like, subscribe, all that jazz there. So next up on that, let's jump into these wideouts. Now, this is the position I know we're seeing the most change. Every team has a lot of injuries, and because we've got so many injuries, you're seeing people step up. You had what Tony that did for the Giants a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Green Bay, they're playing against the Cardinals right now, but they've got like 3 wide receivers out this week. And so with so many teams having so many wide receivers not playing, at one point the Titans had both their top guys out, and they were playing a whole bunch of everybody else.
Yes.
So we're seeing a lot of that in the wide receiver space. Not to go far on the rant. This is the week to really start honing in on who you're going to have ready for your replacements.
Yes.
And so, of course, you got the top guys. Every week you play Cup. You play Jamar Chase now. He's jumped up to 7.5.
Yes, keep playing him.
You play him every week.
Keep playing him. I got a question mark by Terry McLaurin, but, he just gets heavily targeted. Like, it's like when he's just like an every week shot at.
He's a shot in the dark every week. That's kind of the problem, is that there's more no's than yeses when it comes to him over the last season.
It has been mainly the
because of the quarterback. Yeah, it's the quarterback. He has inconsistent quarterback play.
So like you said, at 7.6, would you rather play Mike Williams at 7.7 or Jamar Chase at 7.5? And most people are going to pick the other two.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about the large field tournament plays, here comes Terry McLaurin out of nowhere with his 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. And
he had 122 yards, 1 touchdown last week at 28 points, but he had he went 2 weeks in a row, 2 single-digit weeks after a 33rd. So in between, he's sandwiched in between that with 2 bad weeks.
Consistent, and that's what we want. We're hoping for consistency.
At least if it's double digits every week, we can't call it. There's no complaint.
Yep.
It makes sense and it's logical. You go for it. That's not what we're getting out of him.
The optimizers might give you Debo Samuel at 7-4. Just pass. Just don't. The Bears and the Frisco game, I think you can just X out all of those players and be okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And not look. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think that his little. And it's not that it's little, but his 7-catch, 100-yard, 1-touchdown game is not going to bury you at 7-4.
Yeah, it's not gonna move you up the ladder in the competitions. You want to make sure that if you're gonna pay 7.5, if you're paying over 7,000 for a player, you're gonna need at least 20.
Yes, and we talked about Cups at 9K. You just keep playing them. Yeah. Stephon Diggs.
It's hard.
This price tag at Stephon Diggs keeps kind of being up at 8-1. Like, this will be the week that he really goes, but he hasn't paid off the price tag all season to me.
Who?
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs is not worth the number.
Not the price tag in DFS.
He's not worth 81. He doesn't. He gets the targets, kind of. But Josh Allen is becoming an elite quarterback to where he's spreading it around to whoever's open.
Yep.
He's not forcing it to a top receiver anymore because he's understanding that if I can get everybody else involved, my top guy's gonna be open more.
It's kind of what's going on with the DeAndre Hopkins of the world.
Yep. That's why you don't see that from a lot of your top guys. I mean, Cooper. The good thing for Cooper Kupp is that Woods is that good as well.
Yeah.
And then Vance Jefferson and Deshaun Jackson are who Stafford really wants to.
Right.
He's lucking out because his quarterback has a really big arm and he likes to throw it deep. And so you have to protect that, and by doing that, it still leaves Kupp in one-on-ones.
Yeah,
consistent quarterback play helps a lot.
I think
receivers.
We talked about me loving Herbert, which means that I would automatically love Mike Williams at 7-7.
Yeah.
And then you move down. If I should have just kept it open to them. You told me don't spit out his stat line. So you got to get the next range of receivers when you get to 7K and below. That starts with Mike Evans. He's in this tough matchup with Lattimore.
I wouldn't touch Evans this week. Lattimore, they love matching up against each other. They love to battle, and Lattimore seems to win the most. To be honest,
so the stat line we talked. Remember, I said I was going to bring up Mike Evans' stat line.
Yeah.
4 for 64, no touchdowns. 1 for 2 yards and a touchdown. 4 for 69, no touchdown. A 0-0-0 line. And
remember that game.
4 and a 4.86 no touchdown line. That's his last 5 games against the Saints, particularly Marshawn Lattimore. So all signals point to just, play Godwin at 6-4.
Godwin, if Gronk plays, go Gronk. If not, play Brayton, OJ Howard if he plays.
Or you go the other way and kind of think that if it's a close game and they kind of moving the ball, you have Godwin.
Yeah,
you
Lenny.
mentioned Fournette. There you go.
I love Lenny this week.
There you go.
I love Fournette. I actually love him this season.
It gives you more reason, so they gives you more reason, and that's the gem that you find. Like, okay, let me keep digging deep, and so I think you go there.
Yeah,
Godwin's leading right now. The Bucs. He's got 41 catches, 505 yards. Got 29 first downs on Brady throws. You keep.
There's so much there,
but it does kind of look like, as I'm reading this right now, it looks like he's coming back. Gronk is.
Yeah. The way it's looking, Gronk, he practiced in a limited capacity here on Thursday, so they're expecting him to most likely suit up.
When he was out, that's why it was so easy to keep stacking Brady's receivers, because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to chase Brayton Howard, I'm not going to chase Tyler Johnson and whoever else. Godwin, just stick to the main guys.
Yeah. At the price, I wouldn't touch DK Metcalf. He's a little overpriced right now.
No, but let's hold on. So I'm gonna get to him.
Okay.
So I like Tannehill at 6'6", which again makes me like AJ Brown at 6'9" in a stack. I think that this matchup is going to be a lot better for Geno Smith. I mean, look, he's played some tough. Now, as bad as he's been, he's played some tough defenses in his little games he's played.
Yeah, that's true.
This is going to be their favorite at home. DK Metcalf down at 6'8". That's an AK receiver. Just go out there and throw it to him. He's the receiver that will be low owned that nobody's played. And when he gets 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, everybody be like, well, duh, it's DK Metcalf.
No, I get that, but
I mean, Geno's bad.
And it's not even that Geno is that bad. Is that Geno, and this is the reason why Tyler Lockett is struggling right now, is that he doesn't throw it the way Russell does and puts it in the right. He doesn't float in the right spots.
Throw it down the field to DK Metcalf.
He can't go deep to DK. That's the problem. He's going to underthrow him every time. And if he underthrows a dude that almost made the Olympics,
Give him a shot.
You're not going to do it.
He's favored. They're favored at home to win this game.
I
thought that was strange, but
well, the OSG, our fantasy expert, is advising you to go DK. Is okay.
I would. Yeah,
I am concerned.
I wouldn't play DJ Smith. I mean, not Geno. I wouldn't play Geno Smith himself.
I wouldn't touch Tyler Lockett. I feel bad for Tyler Lockett. He's been atrocious.
I think that is,
since his quarterback has been gone down.
I think that is.
And we mentioned these two guys.
And he's actually okay. So in the targets from Geno, he's got 11 catches, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, leads in first down conversions from Geno.
There's think
no defensive back. Like I think he's just gonna go out there.
I just think I don't
push
like
out the way whoever's holding him. Like
yeah,
I understand. Like
I don't like his price
at 6'8".
Yes,
actually, I think that's the part that I love about it, that he's priced down right now.
Okay,
that is what you call buying low.
Yes, I mean, a good point.
That is, that is buying low, and that's the ultimate. It's the ultimate.
Okay,
we'll see.
All right,
sneaky one.
Give us 3 super cheap wide receivers that you feel like is worth our conversation.
Yeah, really struggling. Keenan Allen's age model is.
I do like T. Higgins against the Jets.
Yes. Okay. So here was if Najee Harris doesn't get there at 6'3", it'll be Charles Claypool.
Yeah. Claypool was one of those.
He's like sneaky. Marvin Jones Jr. because I like Trevor Lawrence.
Emmanuel Sanders down there. Manny at 5'4".
We talked about Michael Pittman.
Let's
talk
at 5'3".
about these Detroit receivers. You got Khalif Raymond at 5'3" versus your T. Higgins at 5'2". Now, St. Brown had 0 targets last week. He gave me a big fat 0 after getting 9 targets each week before that.
Yep. And
I think that he was in the slot, and he got a lot of Jalen Ramsey. And they went heavy with Khalif Raymond.
So the way, you're right.
So I think in this matchup, he's got a bounce back.
His quarterback is still Jared Goff.
And who? Detroit? They're playing. Who are they playing? They're in a bum fest. They're playing somebody.
They're playing Philly.
They playing Philly. Okay.
And Philly has a good secondary,
but they don't
have a good run defense. Their secondary is better than average.
They cover the outside receivers well.
Yes.
They leave the middle of the field open. Enter St. Brown, and actually my really favorite play when we get to tight end is actually going to be T.J. Hawkinson. But
I think if that game is a tight end play,
I think if this Philly-Detroit game gets back and forth, and I think that Jared Goff is a better passer than Jalen Hurts is.
To be honest, I think in that game is going to be all Swift. Because the Eagles are 29th in DVOA on the run. They're pretty atrocious. Yeah. So that means that they're giving up way too much.
Total, so in this game, it's kind of like you can't hate anybody. And I won't say you can't hate them because it's 26 team implied team total. Lions got 22, but it's still 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
There's still some points to to be had.
Okay.
In a bump fest. So,
but
who else is cheap?
I do like T.
Beasley.
Higgins.
Yeah.
T. Higgins. I actually like Landry and Beasley.
You said Landry?
Jarvis Landry.
Oh, you like him.
He's returning. He's returned to practice this week, and I do like him a little bit. And Cole Beasley.
What do you think of Teddy Bridgewater this week? Against they're playing Washington.
I like Sutton. I do like Cortland
I like Sutton at 6'4". Okay, Jerry Judy's coming back. He's 4'9".
Ooh, Judy's coming back?
He's coming back. I think that's a bump to the offense because Bridgewater is he's not
Bridgewater
great.
does enough.
He's not great, but he's winnable.
He's a game manager.
He can beat this Washington defense.
Yes.
The game total is a 44. Like, couldn't you see McLaurin? Couldn't you see them having a little 31-28 game?
Yeah, I can see them going to 50 points this week. They shouldn't, and they will.
Maybe. I really wish that Shaviska Shenault. Like, I had some lineups a few weeks ago, and I don't remember what week that was, that I did great. And Shaviska Shenault, only thing he did was that long catch for 58 yards on that day.
Yep.
And after the bye,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking that after the bye, he had a decent game after that.
Yeah.
4-7. It's worse plays out there.
I mean, T.Y. Hilton might be someone to look at too.
I don't want to play him. He's old.
He is, but in his game back, I mean, he had 4 targets, 80 yards. He was out there doing it.
That's true. And you know, and again, if you like Wentz, I can't hate you for that.
It's true.
Because maybe he cancels out like the Zach Pascals of the world.
That's true.
I think Michael Pittman continues to eat because he still had 80 yards and touchdown that game. Might have been 90 yards. But I think, so I can't hate that.
Okay.
If you want a worse play than that, you can play Van Jefferson again. I mean, Stafford's going to throw it at everybody. He got a touchdown last week, 3-9. All right, stick to St. Brown at 3-9.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to play Watkins I keep talking about these Lions receivers. Watkins.
Okay. Let's move on into these tight ends. The tighter ends, the Kyle Pitts of the world. He is now 6'3". Largely overpriced right now at 6'3".
And with no Waller, Kelsey's on the board, or Mark Andrews, he is the highest.
He's the highest priced guy. Everyone is expecting him to have
their number one receiver.
Yeah, I mean,
because he did better than Calvin Ridley did last week.
He had a 10 target game, 8 target, 9, 10, and then 8 in 3 straight games.
So
that first 9 target game, he only had 4 catches, which is horrible. Mm-hmm. But that 10 target game, he had 9 catches, and in the 7, he had 7 receptions for 163. And that's what we're loving.
All coincided with Matt Ryan's 300-yard tear.
Exactly. Now the crazy thing is that he's putting up 29 and 26 points those last 2 games. He only scored 1 touchdown.
Those are receiver type numbers.
Those are receiver numbers. He's a wide receiver.
So he's 6'3" and Ridley 6'6". So I like Ryan, and so I'm gonna have to make a decision.
I would play, if anything. I definitely play Pitts in the as a flex, and not even he's just a tight end because he's that 6'3" at wide receiver is worth it.
Yep.
I would play him as an additional wide receiver.
Yep. So if you don't want to spend that high, I think T.J. Hawkinson is in a.
This is a good spot for him.
It's a great spot.
This is a great spot for Hawkinson.
Waller got ruled out. That was kind of I was like heavy on Darren Waller over the show last week, and then on Saturday, Hurts whatever, he ruled out, and then Foster Moreau comes right on in there.
Ooh, yeah, it's true.
Touchdown, and they was really pumping him up Sunday morning. I was like, and I finally put him in a few lineups, and he did good. Enter T.J. Hawkinson's getting better. He's getting healthier, and as bad as golf in this offense is, I know that they wanted to beat the Rams.
Yes.
But they look the best that they have ever. And you ride the streak. So Swift and Hawkinson are the pass for that team.
That's true.
I like them.
Noah Fant is one that I've always played every week just about because Noah has done Noah Fant's always one that I like to play because Noah has been consistent. He's been a consistent receiver for not only Teddy Bridgewater as well as Drew Lock, even though he plays best with Bridgewater.
What's even better is that he's in a good spot against this defense.
Now he's had 3 single-digit weeks, but he still gets enough targets. The last 4 weeks, he had 10, 4, 11, and 7, so almost 7 targets a week. Mm-hmm. He's
and at 4.9 it's not bad because everybody in that price range, everybody's going to play Dallas Goedert at 4.7 in that Philly Detroit game for good reason. Ertz was gone and he had a good game. I'm just I didn't talk about Devontae Smith at receivers. I'm just really one of the days Hurts's floor is going to fall out of him when he can't run and he's not been a good passer.
I mentioned it earlier when we talked quarterbacks. He's one of the 3 quarterbacks that leads his team in running and passing. So honestly, I wouldn't touch anything.
Anybody can get to him. We saw how the Lions did their best coming out of this game planning last week against the Rams. Half of it was just keeping them off the field by doing fake punts and onside kicks.
It's true. And remember, this is also Hurts' first actual season as a starting quarterback. Full. And last year he was behind Carson Wentz in that whole dysfunctional situation. So it's not a situation where you should, I can't. I'm trying to see what he's going to look like in the next year or two. Yeah. I can't fully prejudge it yet. He's got to improve.
He's like one of fantasy's most consistent producers.
He's putting up numbers.
But it's the running that's doing that for his box score in fantasy. And so when I'm looking at the receivers and the people I want to take around him, gosh, he's throwing for 180 yards. Why would you do that when Burrow is throwing 400?
He's 20 plus points every week.
Yeah.
That's the bad part. As bad as we feel like Hurts is, every week he's putting up those numbers. And you kind of take advantage of that.
So the next guy I will probably see him in a lot of my lineups, and that's going to be Hunter Henry. It's 4-2, 4 straight games with touchdowns. And I know it's harder to do it in football, and Belichick doesn't care.
Yeah.
# revenge game against the Chargers. but he attacks great matchups. And for Damian Harris at running back and the tight end position with Hunter Henry, it is the best spots for them to attack this Chargers defense.
That's true.
And I think he's an amazing play.
Now this is confusing to me.
Why?
And I want you to explain this one to me.
I wonder if it's the same question I got.
I don't get this. He's at 3.7.
CJ Uzoma.
How?
Because the same question applies to RSJ. Why is he still 3.8? Ricky Seals-Jones. He's Washington's number 2 receiver. And
I guess because Uzoma only does big plays.
So we think that one of my most trusted resources, we're point chasing because of those touchdowns. But those popped in good spots. And he's in an amazing spot right now. And what most of us do is when you got a quarterback, again, we talk about Joe Burrow. If you're going to throw it for 400 yards, every piece is playable. Higgins is playable. Chase is playable. Uzoma's playable.
Yeah. Mixon, because him and P. Ryan's both going to catch out the backfield.
Saying. So if they move
and they're playing the Jets, so it's going to be a kicking.
So while we don't want to play Pitts at 6'3", or if we don't, or even Mahakason, if tight end, sometimes it's just a position to save at because you're just looking for a short range of outcomes at a very, very volatile position.
That's true. I like the Henry play as well as I kind of like Higbee.
Higbee, again, he's a
product
of this. Now, I've been waiting on him to pop because he's got these 9-point game, because he's not getting in the end zone.
Yeah.
That's all. Robert Woods took it. And then last week, Jefferson got that touchdown.
Yep.
If it isn't Kupp or, and that was a red zone touchdown. That was D Hendo's touchdown. But they did, when the chalk fails, what happened?
That's true.
He threw the touchdown to freaking Van Jefferson.
Yeah, no, you're right. 100%.
So Higbee, you kind of got that line there, Goddard 4.7, Gronk 4.6, Higbee 4.5. And then from there down, Henry 4.2, RSJ 3.8, Uzoma 3.7. I think you can stick in that range on Sunday and not spend up.
That's a good point.
I think so.
So keep this in mind. OSG writes a thorough report on every player every week for the OSG report on the Medium page. So you go to medium.com / the OSG report.
Yep.
Or you can just go to our website, unfair-sports.com.
Yep.
Click on that bad boy. You'll see the writings. Link, go to that. It'll take you to the feature page with the OSG. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap her up. We got defense special teams.
Ooh, Lord.
We're going to hit the quick defense special teams, and we're going to jump right into the PHrozen features, the ice cold picks of the week from OSG.
This week.
Because the defense this week, oh, God. So, all right, let's go. At the top of the list, of course, is the Rams.
You know what? When I wrote my list, I went backwards. I went cheapest to highest.
Oh, good. Let's go cheapest to highest. What you got?
Cheapest, okay. They're 2-1. I mean, Washington. Okay, Bridgewater, we said he's decent.
But yeah, it's still.
And, okay, the last 4 games for the Washington defense, as bad as they are, at 2-1, they scored 6, 5, 8, and 7.
Yeah.
They play some pretty decent offenses. I mean, the Chiefs aren't who we thought they were.
That's true.
But this, is what it is. I think they even played the Saints in there. I don't know. Doesn't matter. 2-1.
Yeah.
Another terrible defense. If the bottom falls out on Jalen Hurts, the Lions at 2-3. If you really think Geno Smith is that bad and they can't do anything at 2-4, the Jags. I'm really questioning this line that Seahawks favored. And I know that the Jags are traveling as far as they can in America to play football.
Yeah, but they're traveling in the opposite direction. So time is actually better for them.
It's just, sometimes I think I'm starting to know with these sports things, is this the travel alone? The worst time for the NBA to play on the back page is if you're in the Portland, Denver, Utah circle. It's just the worst thing in the world, and the production shows it. So
that's true.
I don't hate these cheap defenses. I don't hate those 3. I think it's such a tight division game that the Colts and the Titans are both 2-6.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears are 2-7. They're bad, but so are the Niners.
I do like that Titans at 2-6. I don't know why. They're in the Dome in Indianapolis.
Right.
It feels like it's going to be a track meet, but I think that is something to consider. That's a considerable play.
It's Carson Wentz. At any point, he could start turning the ball over. Knees and ankles or whatever he had. Bears 2-7. They're just playing Jimmy G, and I've always thought he was a terrible quarterback.
Yeah.
The Bills are only 3-3. You talked about their defense earlier. playing Tua. Division, 18-point team total.
I'm not opposed to these Browns at 3,000 as well.
They got the
Steelers.
Yeah.
They're in Cleveland, too.
So, yes. How about the Bengals at 3-6?
You know,
they got a whole nother quarterback that we just don't even.
Oh yeah, they got Mike White. Yeah, they got Mike White going out to throw the ball, and no one even knew Mike White. This is 4th year in the league.
Never heard of him.
No clue he even existed.
Never heard of him.
And hell, the funny thing is, me and Jimmy's done numerous who guessed the backup quarterback games just about every season. Did not know he existed.
No, at all.
This is a level of person that I did not. Yeah, I'm in shock.
Bengals defense priced up for the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I put the Bucks at 4-2, but it's a revenge game for Winston, and maybe he just throws 5 interceptions because it's his old team. I don't know.
That's true, but the problem is the Tampa secondary is so bad right now. Everybody's really hurt. We had 2 corners, 3 corners out, a safety, and I think two more safety. I think we got like 5 or 6 secondary players out that we kind of could use. So
I think them and the Rams at 5-1. I think they just priced out.
Yeah, that Rams is too high. See, and that's the thing about it. And I mentioned this before. Houston has the 32nd ranked offense. If Tyrod Taylor plays, they're in mid-20s. They're upper 20s, actually. They're probably the 20th team in offense. They're not going to be that bad, and that's going to take away from them. Now, if Tyrod Taylor is playing, we got to consider this. This is Aaron Donald chasing after him with a bad hamstring. Mm-hmm. So that is something to I get why it could be priced at high, but I don't feel like Tyrod's going to let them do that. Yeah.
So what I was listening to, I don't even remember what the question was, how they answered, give me a defense, and he just said, who's playing the Jets? So
yeah. The Jets and Jacksonville are the 2 teams. You play that Seattle defense. Trevor Lawrence is going to throw interceptions. He's going to give the ball away.
I probably need to take another look at Seattle.
That's his game. He's going to give the ball away. Seattle is priced at 2.8. So they're not too shabby. I'm looking at them right now. They give up a lot of points. This is funny. I get that it's divisional, but why is Buffalo 3-3 against Miami?
They don't score a lot of fantasy points.
They're averaging 12 fantasy points a game this year. They're the top defense. They're putting out the most. Like, they're the only one in double digits in average. Literally, this year, they're the only one averaging double digits. Now, last week they didn't put out many numbers when they lost to Tennessee. The last time they played 2 weeks ago, besides the bye. But that's against Tennessee.
Houston and Miami.
They're playing Miami,
whom they scored 22 against.
22,
3,300.
Yes. And they beat them 35-0.
They had 6 sacks that game. Oh yeah, I remember that game. I played Allen. That was a good week that week.
That was a great week. Even though honestly Josh Allen played really bad, that was a good week overall.
Maybe the Bills and the Bengals are the play.
That is such a low number. I'm questioning. That's why we're talking about it. We're talking through this. I'm questioning why they're so low. That is a optimal position for a team. I think that's been the average
median price. I think they price at where they probably.
They're typically one of the higher ones. Just about every week we've played them, they've been in the upper echelon.
Yeah, they show their salary on them game logs.
Yeah,
25. They've been 3,800. They've been 4,300.
They're usually the upper echelon. They've had 2 games under 3,000 this season. Well, 3 games. 3. The first game and then the last 2, which it makes sense. The last 2, Kansas City and Tennessee.
Priced down for the matchup. Yes.
Yeah, you price them down for explosive offenses.
Played off against the Chiefs for that matter. But
then Houston, Miami, Washington. I mean, the last Miami game they were 3-3, and they put up 22 points. Mm-hmm. So that tells me they're 3-3 again. They're probably going to put up at least 20. Tua's going to have problems against this defense. You take advantage of that. So, okay.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
And, Washington's defense, they did that against the Packers, the Chiefs, the Saints, and the Falcons.
Yeah, as much noise as we talked about them,
and even 7 points against the Chargers.
And to be honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck for you right here. It's gonna be a little weird to say. You might want to consider that Saints defense. There may be a turnover or 2 in there. There may be a special teams touchdown, too.
They're always a excellent. Like, they average at 9-7. They're right there at the double digits.
Yes. They're right there at the line. They're the second-rated one behind. I always
think they're a great tournament defense because the people don't think about them.
Yeah, so and they get turnovers. Well, the other thing is they do a lot of special teams stuff, too. So they will get you a return for a touchdown that you won't expect.
And Brady can get sacked.
Yep.
He won't throw a lot of interceptions, but, he's not fast, so.
They will, and their pass rush is actually pretty solid. So, okay, all right. the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yes.
It is the Frozen Features. These are our ice cold takes. Takes so cold, they'll burn you.
Right.
And so let's see what the OSG thinks is going to work this week. All right, so first off, who's our quarterback that's going to give us 300 yards and 4 touchdowns?
4 touchdowns plus 300 yards.
Yeah. Who's going to put up them numbers?
Gosh, I'm tired of saying his name.
I know you are.
I'm tired of saying like Matt's. But you know what, actually? I'm going to take Josh Allen.
Ooh. So you don't think Josh is going to have a bounce back on it?
I think so.
He hasn't really put up numbers like that in a while.
I don't really like that, but you know what? Scratch that.
No Josh
I said
Allen?
he was my favorite guy. I'm going to take my bounce back. I'm going to take my bet. I'm going to take Justin Herbert.
Okay. Let Herbert get it for us again.
I said that. I liked him and Mike Williams.
Okay.
I like that.
All right. Running back. Who's our running back's going to get us 150 yards and 2 touchdowns?
Is that rushing yards only, or is that multi-purpose yards?
All-purpose yards.
How many yards?
150 all-purpose, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it makes the field bigger.
We keep talking about this bad matchup. Alvin Kamara.
That
It's
makes
terrible.
sense.
I know it does.
Makes sense.
I wanted to say Eckler, but I'm like, if Herbert throws, that's not nothing left for Eckler then.
Well, unless he's catching them.
Unless he's catching them, that's
He's
true.
catching. He's
That's
a
true.
receiver. He's receiving
That's
that game.
true.
That's a good point.
That's true.
All right, wide receiver. Who's going to get us 3+ touchdowns this week? We want a big number out of a wide receiver this week. Who's going to be keyed in on all week?
3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. I know it's
I'll
tough.
give you a crazy one.
Ooh, somebody different.
A.J. Brown.
Oh, that's an interesting one. So you think
They try
Tannehill's going to have a good
I
one?
think they try to shut down Derrick Henry. Like they try to take away that.
So Tannehill
I think
actually
they
comes
tired of
out.
getting ran on by Henry.
I can see that, and then
In the
Tannehill
dome.
goes out there and
They're in the
throws.
Colts, ain't they at the
They're
dome?
in the dome, so I think it's going to be attract me too.
Because I like Tannehill. He's one of the few quarterbacks I had highlighted. And if you play if you really like a quarterback, look at those receivers.
Yeah,
Maybe
they've
AJ
got to get off of the Tannehill. I think like 96% of the plays are going through Derrick Henry, and that's way too high.
They got to bounce. Like, it's so early in the season. Like, you cannot beat these running backs up. I know they can and that they're so replaceable. But, like, if you want to win the Super Bowl, save Derrick Henry.
Not with that guy. Not with that guy.
No, yeah, he's not.
Because you're not replaceable.
Other running backs are. I think I heard when they talking about, they kind of talked about Dearness Johnson coming in there. And they were just talking about,
the scheme is set. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scheme is set for
Derrick
that. It's just
Henry
like Baltimore. Just like Baltimore setup. So, yeah, similar.
But Derrick Henry is a once in a lifetime.
Once in a generation.
animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he is.
He's a generational talent.
He is.
I mean, he's the Jim Brown of this era. All right. Tight end. Who's going to get us 100 yards? I think I know who you're going to say.
Probably Kyle Pitts. He's the only one he's got in his repertoire.
It's
Though
true.
I really like T.J. Hawkinson, but I think for 100 yards, he's his team's borderline number 1 receiver.
Okay.
And it takes that
Makes
kind of
sense.
volume to get 100 yards at the tight end position.
That's right.
As much as I want to play Hunter Henry, but he's not going to get 100 yards.
No, he's not.
But Kyle Pitts, 7, 8. Like, if he's getting almost double-digit targets, like, of course, he's going to have 100 yards.
It's true. Okay, last one. Defense, special teams. Who's going to score while adding at least 3 sacks?
Score.
Whose defense or special teams going to score while adding 3 sacks?
Bengals.
Ooh.
Attacking those Jets.
You think it's going to be a defensive touchdown, or you think it's going to be a special teams?
Defense.
Ooh.
Defense.
We're going to call it defensive touchdown. Okay.
Defense. And I think
Strip sack.
I think your team is the other call for that is your Bills defense. But I think those 2 defenses though. But I think I'm going with the Bengals though.
I like that.
Going with the Bengals off the board a little bit.
I like that a lot. Okay. With that was the Frozen Features.
Yes.
So, we appreciate you joining us as usual here on Unfair Sports, the special OSG Fantasy Report. Check us out wherever podcasts download, listen to. Make sure you share because sharing is caring. And like and subscribe and do all that jazz. Rate us, review us, and give us 5 stars. You think we deserve it? Man, just give us 5 anyway and gift it. So, for Mike, Bob, and Wendy, thank you so much for doing what you do best on the back inside. From a co-host here with OSG, check out the report Saturday afternoon. He'll drop that on the Medium page. You'll be able to read up on the players, get more details about what we've been talking about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed us talking. Please hit us up on the Instagram at the OSG and let us know what you think about the lineups he posts. And with that, we will chop it up in a few days. Peace.